morning, evening, or afternoon, whatever it may be for you, but welcome to Naturally Case in Point. And I'm your talk forum host, Miss Nat. And in this forum, you know that naturally will always be you. Case in Point today will be you as a caregiver. Yep, life is changing fast for a lot of us, and this is what we're becoming, caregivers. You never seen it coming, it just fell in your lap. Boom, you're a caregiver. You don't have 9 months to prepare about it. You don't have time to think about it. You're just a caregiver in a lot of cases. And that's the gist of the story here. I'm talking about people who I know personally who are rendering excellent caregiver service. And I want to do this in two segments because it's going to take that long to talk about these phenomenal people that I have lined up here. And when I say caregiver, I don't mean from the caregiver aspect all the time of turning or lifting somebody. You know, there's a lot more to caregiving, and I want to speak about that on today. I have two phenomenal women that I would love to share their stories with you, both named Gail, and they are both rendering excellent caregiver service. My first story is with Gail and Lewis Foster, friends of mine in California. Now, Gail had to travel to Michigan and she was visiting her sister. Her sister's health wasn't good, and unfortunately, the sister passed away, leaving Gail with the niece, Rachel. Now, Rachel has cerebral palsy, and Rachel is, oh, she was at that time over, I think, 50 years old. And this was only 3 or 4 years ago that this happened. So, Rachel may be, what, 54, 53, or something like that. But anyway, Rachel was in need of a place to be. But Gail, at that time, her and her husband Louis, they already knew that we were going to take her in. They're going to come to live with her. But when I say when they take her in, there's a lot of other things in play here. Being a caregiver, not only are you rendering care, but there's a lot of legal and business aspects to that. You know, Gail had to take care of the property that she wouldn't be staying at. Things just had to be done from a caregiver's point of view that doesn't always necessarily mean rendering physical care. There are legal aspects to caregivers also. But Gail brought Rachel to California, and now Rachel is doing the most. You might see Rachel at Disneyland, you might see her at the stores, you might see her at getting her hair done. She's on a women's retreat. She's in church. Her quality of life, thanks to Gail and Lewis, has just been phenomenal. And this is what we call caregiving, people. You know, caregiving is not sitting at home rocking away with them or just, waiting on them to drool. Caregiving means you're out and about with them. They have a quality of life and it is good for them. Bravo, and thank you, Lewis and Gail, for letting me share your story. My next story is my good friend Gail, also, and Jerry Culp. Gail's sister came to stay with them for a while, and unfortunately took a turn for the worse, and Deborah got ill. Uh, in between that, before she took seriously ill, Gail was contemplating retirement, but not so much until one day she saw her sister's need and she decided to retire. hmm See, God knows where you're going to be and what you're going to be doing. So we can't always say, "Oh, I'm not going to be doing that." Yeah, you will. He only calls the best. And when he calls you, you got to answer. And this is for family. Come on. So who better to take care of her sister? Unfortunately, Deborah's not with us anymore, but before she left, Gail was phenomenal. And Gail still is phenomenal because on today, Gail is still a caregiver. Her and her husband Jerry both are taking care of Jerry's mom in a phenomenal way. Now, she was in the home at first and then things changed. And sometimes people get better care at the hospital just because of the setup there and the things that can happen for them. Well, Jerry's mom is in a wonderful place. She's in a beautiful home and she loves it. And let me tell you, when people go to nursing homes and they can be all right with it, you know you've done a good job. You know you've done a good job. And they go and visit her and she's never lonely. But just imagine if you had to be a caregiver not once but twice in your life. You know, awesome. You may think it burdensome or whatever, but think of it like this. Why not you? God will make a way for you to take care of his work. And surely he has with these two women, Gales, that I just spoke about today. God has made a way for them. Both retired, both able to really think about retiring and doing other things, but they're caregivers. And in being caregivers, they still are active in their lives because they, like I said, the first Gail, she takes Rachel with her everywhere. Gail, my friend, before her sister died, Deborah went with her everywhere. Mind you, Gail is a pastor, so Gail has convocation to go to. There's church and hospital visits. And as much as she could, she took Deborah with her. Deborah was still active until that day. God called her home. If you know of anyone who is rendering excellent, and I mean excellent, caregiver care, help them on today as much as you can. Do what you can do. You don't have to go in and be the caregiver, but give the caregiver some care. Give her a rest. Go sit with the person while they go get a cup of coffee, get their nails done, or run some business errands that they need to do. Do anything. You have a visual on somebody. It might even be in your family. And let's face it, a lot of families are not equipped to trade off and let the siblings take care of however that's supposed to work. I know I'm talking to somebody out there. A lot of people just not going to do it. But on today, I'm calling you out. Do a you on you and see who you can help. You know who you can help. I have no idea, but you do. Do that on today. Make a caregiver's life a little bit better, naturally. We'd like to thank you for sharing your time of day with us here at Naturally Case in Point. And if you or anyone you know is having a birthday, we'd like to say happy birthday to you and thank you once again for watching us on Naturally Case in Point. And this will be a part two because we have some phenomenal caregivers out there. Are you one of them?